One of my favorite trucks back up on the bench. Everybody, welcome back, OPTiMUS OVERKiLL. This is a 1/10 scale radio control truck. Now, many of the viewers, long-term viewers of RC Adventures, and maybe even some newer ones, already know the history of Overkill. Overkill started many years ago on the show with me. Can you believe this truck started off as an axial dingo kit? Nothing about it is an axial dingo kit anymore, but the metamorphosis and the transformations over the years have been truly amazing to watch and, of course, to experience. Now, for me as an owner and driver of this machine, I'm constantly modifying it. I've had my friend David Jr. work on this, help me with one of the transformations from regular Overkill into HD Overkill when I had actually switched it over to the first smoke kit, the first sound kit for it. We had it as Overkill, which was the first huge GMC top kick truck, and now we've ended up with this behemoth. Now, truly, the camera does not get the full size of this truck, and I have to tell you, in person, it really is impressive. Heck, it's impressive on camera. Now, as many people know as well, this stack system is actually a smoke kit. Back here, this part here was actually designed by my friend Craig. Craig had Black Peter. I have Black Peter here, which sounds kind of funny. It is an oil truck rig. It is another 6x6, slightly shorter than OPTiMUS Overkill here, and you'll actually see Black Peter on the show again. He won the 2015 TTC we had out at the RCSparks studio, so it was a magnanimous truck. I was lucky enough to pick up Black Peter when Craig wanted to get into other areas of the hobby and he was selling it, so I was able to scoop him up. I do have videos on that truck, of course. You'll be seeing more of that truck in the future as mentioned. So let's have a look inside of Overkill here. This custom paint job was done by my friend Ryan at Bloodshot Airbrushing. As you can hear, this is a community truck. Just having a replica of Optimus Prime in our own version of it is awesome. Now, apart from the chrome RC four-wheel drive rims and of course the RC four-wheel drive rock crusher tires, the 2.2s, they're just monsters. I've always enjoyed these Integy style shocks. Now, if you have a good look at this, I've explained this before, and when David Jr. was talking to me as well, we both looked at the design of the shock. Now, you'll see this one here is actually on a slant, but when the shock is at full extension, cycle it, it is nice and straight. See how it swings like that, back and forth? This way, we always have a tire on the ground, right? Anywhere we go, tires are on the ground and straight. We get really good balance on the truck that way. Now, each one of these axles is steering modified, right? It has 6-wheel steering on it. Oh, overextended it a bit there. 6-wheel steering. Some people in the last OPTiMUS Overkill video said, "Oh my gosh, that looks weird, you know, this doesn't look right." And I agree, because we really don't see a lot of semi trucks with 6-wheel steering, and it can be a problem to do this. Where you run into the problems, of course, is on the inside steering. Now, we're able to get it to clear this suspension link down here, right? Suspension link that goes to the bottom. But a lot of times what happens is either the frame isn't high enough, and when you go to turn, it starts to rub on the inside tread. So keep that in mind if you're interested in doing 6-wheel steering, that you have to have enough clearance in the back so you're not actually rubbing anything, or else you'll get, when you're driving, where this is running on the inside and hitting the shock shaft. Now, this is not the case with the ones I have here. These shocks I've been using on many of my vehicles for many years. In fact, they're one of my favorite Integy products, even though I'm not a huge Integy fan myself. I have had some mixed responses and mixed experiences myself. But these shocks, they're multi-stage, and I'm going to show you about them. I have been looking forever to find the front set of shocks. Yes, finally! Now I'm going to show you, if my camera will focus, There you go. There's the part number you want and the name, the MSR10 shocks. Now, I put out a while ago that I wanted front shocks. Woo, looking in the camera lens. Front shocks to match, just to go with the whole blue outlook on here. And we couldn't find these. We looked and looked. Everyone was out of stock. In fact, they hadn't been making them for the longest time. But magically, we were able to find, everyone got some in stock right away. So I was super stoked. And yes, that is a shocking price. This is in US. It really depends on where you buy them. I bought mine at A-Main online. It was the first place I could find them, and they're readily available. They used to come in purple and green and the chrome and the blue. So I finally found the blue ones. The reason I like these guys so much, and you guys can make your own judgment call on them, that's fine. A, they are aluminum. They do have quite a good bounce back rate on them. This is no oil in here, by the way. The best things about these shocks are, yes, they are rebuildable, and you do have spare parts that come with them. There's one of the firmer springs on the inside. Plus, the bottom here on the aluminum part, look at this. Open this up for you to see. This is longer. There we are. You get multiple rod ends for length and height. You get multiple springs for different types of rebound rates. Okay, different color springs, different thicknesses for different rebound rates. Plus, you can also change where the oil goes through. You can't see it because of the bright light, but there are there's one. There's multiple holes in here, so you can change them out so you can have a better flow rate of the oil in and out as the piston goes up and down. Now, that's why some of these look more stiff. Some people are like, oh, it looks really stiff in the middle. And it is. And the reason why I kept it stiff like that, apart from experimenting, is while I was rock crawling, I don't mind. See, it does droop back down. It's slow. But everything else is very responsive. I didn't mind the articulation, and while I'm crawling, to have this middle axle up off the ground a little bit. Now, everybody to each their own. I'm changing my stuff all the time, right? Just to kind of tweak it and have different experiences each time. So now with the blue shocks, I thought I'd install them here with you guys today. We can see what it looks like and either give it a thumbs up or maybe a different suggestion, but I already know I'm excited. All right, the first thing I need to do is to use my trusty favorite tool. Viewers of the show have been knowing that this is one of my most used tools and one I recommend to have in your tool belt at all time. My goal is to remove this screw right here. So it's going to be a number, I'm going to have to guess on that. Pull out my pliers and a 2.5 millimeter bit. The bit set I'm using is a factory team or a team associated hex bit driver. They used to be quite inexpensive, but the versatility of it is, of course, you can just pop that into a drill if you need it, and it has come in handy for me over the years. I got to remove the top of Overkill here. Alrighty, make sure it's propped up properly. Lift up the front of OPTiMUS. Make sure these are removed first. There we are. And then slide it forward. This was David Jr.'s genius idea, is to actually just drill 2 holes in the back with 2 posts that come out. That way it can just slide on and stick right behind. Back with the 2.5 millimeter. And out of the hanger. This is a special hanger that I purchased online many years ago. It's just an aluminum hanger. Not sure if they do it anymore, but it was on eBay. But I've had these for such a long time. Many shock hangers out there. Okay, so I can see on my old shock that I was using the extended. The reason why I was using the extended rod end here was for extra height. So even when it's at full droop, we still have the proper amount of room between the body and the tire. So the tire never really rubs this inner tire well up here. So here's a new shock. Gonna take off the old rod end. Pop on the new longer rod end. And then ta-da, da-da-da-da. That is quite the shock extension. Now this top washer on top, this is just to lock in place, making sure that the rod end is nice and secure. And how I tighten these up usually is just get a smaller bit, like so, stick it through the bottom, and just kind of torque it around. Done. Nice and tight. This will never undo right here. Oh, pardon me. This will never undo right here, and everything will be good to go. So, setting up the pin that goes back into place. I'm going to put the shock on first. Then I'm going to put a washer on, because I wanted to put in these hard plastic spacers to give me enough room from the shock hoop to get out a little bit so it runs straight up and down without being on an outward angle. Putting in the hard plastic spacer, and of course just putting that straight through. Now, for me, these holes have been drilled out far enough that I just have to set it up on the other side with a lock washer, or lock nut, I guess. That just means I didn't have to thread it for hours turning there. Take my pliers in place, just hold it, tighten it up. That washer protecting the inside harder plastic, of course, from the cutting eyelet. You don't want that, spacer to crack. You don't need it that tight. And I'll just put this right in the bottom. Getting the second pin ready. Come on. Go through the eyelet, then the inner suspension link, and straight through to the other side. Good. Now where'd the nut go? He's talking on camera. All right. Enough fooling around. This is serious business. Out comes the cross wrench again. Now, even though wheel nuts can come undone all the time, I don't really use thread lock. I try to tighten them up as well as I can with this small cross wrench. And of course, I don't use anything external to help me really tighten it up unless I'm going a little bit quicker. The reason why is you always want to be able to get them off because there's always going to be something that happens inside that axle. Pull it out here. Just basically a repeat of the other side. Oh, I forgot the plastic spacer on the other side. Not the big one, the skinny one that I have for the inside link. Well, that's all right. I'll get that done in a moment. Take it off. Go upstairs. Get that side out. Get that metal washer. The plastic spacer through the top and with the nut. Oh, put the tire back on. Nice. Wheel nut back in place. Make sure it's threaded right. You don't want to cross thread when you're in there. Just ruin one of your beautiful axles. So it's time. A lot of people ask me about my sound kits. I actually take the initiative a lot of times if I'm running a light or a sound kit just to mount a battery up in the back of the box in the cab of any RC vehicle. I'll also mount the control unit for sound in there as well. So basically, usually I can just unhook everything, take the cab and body off, and still have it where I just have to plug one thing in. It just makes it more easy that way, especially when you need to work on your rigs. If you keep things isolated and on their own, usually it works out pretty good, but they all need a power source. Now, smokestacks are now in place. Because I'm not running this today, I'm just kind of getting it ready. I'll leave a link to the last video we did with this. It was really the first running video where it's been looking this good. It was an OPTiMUS video. Link in the video description box below. But what do you think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shocks. All blue. I love it. This is an image I've had in my mind for such a long time. Get you in closer for a nicer look. Now, a lot of people may have liked chrome or black. You know, you want different shocks. That's cool. Just this was a vision that I've been having for a very long time. Searching all over for these shocks. Finally glad I have them. Here's the Savox waterproof servos that I use. Yeah, the 1210s. Very, very strong. I'm happy with them. Shocks looking pretty killer. Drive shaft angles looking fantastic. I swapped these out for completely steel drive shafts. Got a screw kit in so we could have all the matching screws. Not too worried about this. I'll hide this away. It's just because I had the body off. Might create a drop down plate, but I don't mind these motors being exposed. You know, I could cover these up, but really it's part of the magic of it. But if I wanted it to look more scale, like it was a full scale rig, then I'd want to cover these up. But yeah, for now, I'm okay with it. That's the beauty of an RC. It's always transforming. My friends, thank you very much for tuning into the show today. Hopefully you have been inspired and you are getting out there with the radio control hobby. Really, the only limitation is budget and imagination. My friends, see you in the next episode of RC Adventures. Bye.